Hi, Travel Quest Network agents. It's Anna, Education Specialist here at Travel Quest Network. And today we are going to do product training specifically on tours and tour packages. So our agenda will be qualifying your client, what are the best suppliers to use, customizing the content you send to your customers, and then walking through a booking. So qualifying your clients. This will help narrow down what tour supplier you are going to be looking at and what types of activities, how active your client wants to be will help dictate the different tours and activities that you put within the package. So the first question is, do they want an escorted tour or an independent tour package? An escorted tour, all the activities are planned. Most of the day from like 9 to 4 is busy with activities, and the couple would travel with the same people the full length of the trip. With an independent tour package, you can still arrange all the activities for your clients, but it will be unique and customized to them. And they may book into different activities that are part of a group, but they are not traveling with the same people through the length of their vacation. So the next thing to ask them is, where are they thinking of going and why? So if they say they want to go to France, it's their first time, to Europe, but one of the things they're worried about is they don't speak the language. You can then say, you know what, would you consider maybe going to the United Kingdom, to Ireland, to Scotland, where English is the first language, as their first trip to Europe? And if not, and if they say, no, they really want to go to France, then you are able to really tailor their trip to someone that's traveling internationally to a country that speaks a foreign language. So they'll need some more support than if they were traveling to an English-speaking country. So then what activities are they interested in? Are they foodies? Do they want to be able to cook a meal with a local family, go to the best restaurants, try the best wines? Are they interested in hiking or biking? Maybe history is their big thing and they want to go to a lot of battlefields. All those things help narrow your package down for your customer. Where have they traveled in the past? If they're frequent Europe travels, or it's their first trip to Europe, but they've been to Asia and other parts of the world, it's a whole different ballgame than if they've never traveled internationally. So that's the next question. Have they traveled internationally? And if so, where? What did they enjoy about their last trip? Or what would they have done to change it? So you're getting an idea of their likes and dislikes. You can ask them, tell me about your hobbies and your interests. And you can also ask them, if budget were not an issue, describe the trip you would take, so they can dream a little bit. Then we'll look at, what are the best vendors for you to use? So there is the preferred vendor list at the Travel Leaders Network on Agent Universe. And I will take you to that at the end of this video, and we will see the different vendors and how to narrow it down and what you can see on the Travel Leaders website. There's also the Travel Quest Network Agent Portal. You can look in the Rolodex, and you can look in the preferred supplier list on Travel Quest Network Agent Portal as well. If it's after hours and you just really need very time-sensitive information and both of those have not answered your question, go to the Travel Quest Network private members only Facebook page and say, hey, I have a family of 5 who wants to go to Europe, and I'm having trouble finding hotel rooms that will fit 5 in Europe. Put that out there, and our agents have been more than willing to help other agents. So for our escorted tours, for price-conscious travelers, you can look at Cosmo, Intrepid Travel, G Adventures. For the moderate price, you can look at Globus, Peregrine Adventures, Scepter Tours, Central Holidays, CIE Tours. And if you're looking more at the high end, then look at Tauk, A&K or Alexander and Kent, Avante, the Big Five for Africa, Kensington Tours. Those are all good opportunities for high end. When you're into the custom or unique independent tours, Europe Express is great for the United Kingdom, Ireland, Eastern and Western Europe. You can book rail, transfers, castles, and they often have bulk air too. So you can put the entire custom itinerary together at Europe Express. CIE specializes in Ireland, Scotland, the United Kingdom. They do other destinations, but that is their main focus. They do the self-drive, so your client would have the hotel and a car rental included. They can add some tours if they want. They can also do a private driver in car to take them around the country. Or they can be a hybrid, a combination of the two, part of it escorted and part of it independent. And they can book stays in castles as well with CIE. For South Pacific in Australia, I would recommend Travel2. They have the self-drive vacations, but they'll also do a totally custom itinerary with the client being able to book into tours within that itinerary. They're extremely knowledgeable. This is all they do, Australia and the South Pacific, and our relationship with them is very good. They're very responsive. Avante is a great worldwide partner. They are flexible. They can take one of their regular itineraries and make it custom, or they can create a totally individual itinerary for them. And they have castles as well. And when you're thinking of a unique trip, think of this picture. You have the mass or the package tours being the yellow tulips and the red tulip being a custom unique itinerary. If you're looking for more of an adventure experience for your clients, you can use Intrepid Travel. They're active and their accommodations are a little more basic. They have everything from tenting to 2- and 3-star properties. There is G Adventures. It's active. They have basic and comfort accommodations. Both Intrepid and G Adventures, they have activities that you really would actually have to train to go on, and they have activities that are at a leisure pace where you don't have to do any training. So just be careful when you're looking at the particular itinerary. Look at the activity level and the types of accommodations that are included. Peregrine Adventures is a sister company to Intrepid Travel. They provide comfort adventure travel. Now, I did one of their trips to Turkey last year, and we had very nice accommodations. They were clean, they were pretty, they weren't luxury, but they were nice adventure properties, small boutique, something you wouldn't find other places. Big Five, that is a great spot for luxury adventure travel. So if you have a client who wants to go to Africa, and be pampered, as well as see the big five animals. Big Five would be the company that you would go ahead and book with. You'll also want to customize the content that you send to your clients. The importance of branding. When you send an itinerary out to your clients, you don't want them to think of that supplier when they see the itinerary. You want them to think of you and your agency. So it's really important to brand it with your logo, with your contact information, your call to action, so that your client isn't tempted to go over to that supplier direct. You want them to know that it's your agency doing the booking, not that supplier. You also want to have a consistent message with all your client communication, the logo and the design, so that everything's consistent. Your email, your quotes that you send out, etc. If you are striving for high-end clients, you want your quotes to reflect that. In that case, you may be best for you to purchase a branding or an itinerary building software where your client has a higher end feel to those documents. And typically, when you book with a higher end supplier, such as Talc or A&K, they do send nicer upgraded documents, but many of the suppliers are moving towards electronic documents to save paper and trash. So it may be up to you to be able to create that beautiful itinerary. No matter the communication channel used, your brand's tone should be consistent. So you don't want to be too informal in your email communication if you're working with a high-end client who that's not the image you want to reflect. You want to reflect a well-traveled individual who speaks very eloquently of the itinerary that you are planning for the client. So you can do a couple of things. You can use a travel itinerary template. They're free. You can add your logo, you can add your contact information, but it's a static product. So it's a template and you add your client's information, their itinerary by cutting and pasting and uploading into it, the pictures or whatever it may be. Now, if you use an itinerary builder, these are paid products and many of them interface with the common vendors. And then your client will have access to mobile apps so they can see that itinerary on the mobile phone. And the prices range anywhere from $10 a month to $200 a month. It really depends on the product. So I've listed a couple examples here: Travefy, Axis, Unmapped, and then DocBrander. Now DocBrander takes the itinerary from your vendor and strips off their name, puts on your logo and your name, but keeps the essential document that came from the vendor intact. So all those important links to terms and conditions and all that stuff stays intact. So what you lose as far as beauty, you gain as far as keeping all your links intact. So what are the resources that are out there for you? I've included the link here to Travel Quest University. So this will be launching in mid-January, probably the third week of January of 2020. So just around the corner here. There are trainings for Delta Vacations, World Agent Direct, and Vax Vacations. So if you're just doing a tour package for Sun and Sand, those would be the places to start and look. There's also a training on researching an itinerary building and presenting a quote. And then I've included a link here to the free travel itinerary template for travel advisors, and that's provided by Host Agency Reviews. And here's a link to paid itinerary builders in a side-by-side comparison. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you to 2 different vendors and walk you through booking. So this is the Globus family of brands website. So you've logged in and this is the main page. You can book Globus, Avalon, which is the river cruise. So Globus is their mid to first class, moderate to first class hotels. Avalon's a river cruise. Cosmo, they're still nice hotels. They tend to be just a little bit further out of the city and a little less amenities in the properties. And then there's a hybrid product called Monograms, where you book, the tour includes the hotels and all the transfers between cities. But other than that, your client is pretty open to add whatever they would like to the to their itinerary. So it really is a nice, it's a nice hybrid between escorted and independent. And for people who have never traveled internationally and they want all those stress points, the transfer time, getting picked up at the airport, the transfer to the train station, from the train station to the next hotel, that type of product, Monograms would be great for them. So I'm just going to show you, and this works, the search engines and everything work the same, pretty much depend with all the products here in the family of brands. So I just put Italy there. I put my dates that we'd like to travel. You can put a price here, and these are per person. So let's say their max budget is $2,500 a person. You could do it that way. Or you can just leave it blank. And you want to go maybe by product. So you want to look at the Globus brands. Now with tours, when you're doing an escorted tour, you have to be careful of whether the tour will go if only 6 people are signed up, or if they need maybe 30 people for the tour to go. And that's where this guaranteed departure, that's what that means. So guaranteed departure means that this tour is going to go off no matter what on those travel dates. So I always click this because you don't want your client to be all ready to go on their trip and then 30 days prior they find out your clients are the only 2 people booked on that particular tour, so they're canceling it. That would not be a good thing. So always book into guaranteed departures. Or for Intrepid and Peregrine, they will go with, I believe it's a maximum of 2 to 4 people. So always look at what the guidelines are for a particular tour operator. So I'm going to click search. Italy is one of the very most popular of European destinations. So we'll just do this tour because it's going all over Italy. You can click on the little thumbnail sketch and it starts in Rome and it ends in like Como and Milan. You can go to an extension if you want. So it's 2 nights in Rome, 1 night in Assisi, 2 nights in Puglia, and 2 nights in Milan. And most of the tour operators work some variety of this. So you'll want to do show me the departures. And see right here, it says guaranteed. So these are guaranteed to depart. And let's say we'll just pick this. August 15th is a great date for them. Oh, and I also want to show you, Globus family has started private touring. So if maybe you have a family of 5 or 6, 6 probably works better. There'd be 3 rooms. You can click on the private touring options. And if you click on that, what you're going to see is, okay, if you have 6 people, the cost per person is an extra $1,509. Now, if you create a group and you want to make it private and you have 12 people, it's only $800 more to have it as a private group. So it may be an option to some people. So we'll go back here and we're just going to pick one of the regular departures. We're going to book now. It's going to ask you how many rooms you want. Most tour operators have an age restriction, the youngest passengers that they will take, and it's anywhere from 8 to 15 or 18 if they only take adults. So always be aware of what the youngest age is. So here for Globus, the youngest would be 8. All right, so do they want a pre-night? Let's say, I always recommend they come in a day prior, and nope, they're gonna go home on the last day. And then it says, do you want to include prepaid gratuities? I always do that, so it's one less thing for your customers to worry about. And then, like I said, more and more tour operators are going to green documents, so they aren't sending printed ones unless you ask. So Globus does default to electronically. Let's say you would rather them have a tour book, especially with the older travelers. They tend to like the hard documents. And then here is travel protection. Anytime you are sending out an itinerary for clients, they also need to have a quote for travel insurance. You can either put it right into the quote or you can send it out by a third party. And if they're not getting their air from the tour operator, then use a third party, because you want that air to be insured as well. And a third party meaning Travel Guard, Allianz, Chubb, Travel Insured. Those are third party insurers that will cover a tour and air, even if they're at different vendors. So for now, I'm going to say no, and I will send them out a third party quote. So you click continue, and here you go. If you have a promo code, you can put that in. It did pull in a 7.5% early booking discount already onto the booking. If you want to see what your commission is, you can just click here and you can see it's about $700 for that booking. If you want to see an air quote, you can just put an airport here. So I am going to do Minneapolis, because that's where we are. And you're not committed to adding the air right now, but you will be able to see it. So then I'll do continue. And it defaults to however you set up the trip. So if I said I wanted one pre-night, so the extra night would be the green. So these would be the travel days. So I'm going to continue. And you'll be able to see the flights now. And this is going to be economy. Or I think I was going there. Apparently we have a little bit of a glitch, so I'm gonna go without the flight so we can go on with the demonstration, or we might just end up stopping here because it's not working. Okay, so now we're at the transfer point. If your clients are traveling the same days as the tour, you can ask for transfers. But if they're deviating, if they're coming in a day before the tour and they're not staying with your tour operator's hotel, you are probably going to have to get their transfers elsewhere. But these customers, they are actually doing a pre-night with Globus, so we can go ahead and get theirs. And then Milan has 2 airports, so just make sure you pick the right one. And then there's their departure transfer, and it'll tell you the windows here of what time the flights are. So when you make your own, go ahead and do that. You can say, I don't have the flight information right now, and make sure you go back and add that later. But here you go. So now here is your package. And if you want to book it right now, you can do that. Or if you're sending it out as a quote, you just click, I want a 72-hour hold, and then put their names and birthdays in, and you will get a really nice itinerary from the tour company, and you can send that out to your clients, or you can upload it into a branding software. Now I'm going to take you to Europe Express, and this is how you would create a custom tour. So right here, I already started this. So we want a multi-city because I want to show you how you add in rail or transfers. So we're going to do a multi-city. And so where are we going to depart? And I'm going to show you that you can do air as well. They tend to have really good air for the most part. So for this, you have to, it's not as friendly a site as I wish it would be, but they have a lot of things that are good about it. So we're going to be flying out of Minnesota, and we'll be out of Minneapolis, St. Paul. So then it puts that in there. Now we're going to put our travel dates in. So we're going to look at June, and let's do Monday the 8th. And where are we going to go? We're going to go to Italy again. So let's do that. Italy, and we're going to start in Rome. We are going to check in. They're leaving on the 8th, but they get into Europe on the 9th. That automatically figures that for you. And let's say they're going to spend 4 nights in Rome. And then they're going to go over to, let's say, we're going to go Italy, and they want to go to Florence. Let's say that. Or yeah, let's do Florence. So we're going to do Florence, and they're going to check in on the 13th, and they are going to leave on the 16th. And then it's going to ask, how do you want to get between the cities? We're going to do a train. And how early do you want the train? It defaults to 10 a.m. Let's say a little earlier, because our clients want to spend more time where they're going. Do they want a double bed or twin beds? And then they're going to fly home from Florence. It'll default to the last city used, and then you hit search. So it is doing all the work on the backside. It's looking at your dates, it's looking at the flights, and then it'll come up and give you some options, and then we'll just go ahead and pick those. So now it says it's looking at the rail. All right. Okay, so here are the air options. And now you can go up here and you can filter it. So we don't want our clients to have to double connect, but they are going to have to connect on that way home. There's really just no way to avoid that. So, oops, here. And okay, so let's see here. Oh, can't do that. And looks like we're gonna have to double connect here. So let's look for the best flight times. Oh, here's a great one. Minneapolis to Boston, and then Florence to Amsterdam to Minneapolis. So we're going to click on that. Now you can see the price differences here. So this one stop flight is going to run $1,200, and if they do a double stop, it only saves them a very small amount of money. So they definitely are going to want to do that better flight option. So then what you're going to do is go to the next screen. We've picked our flights. Now we can pick our hotel in Rome. So they have it's going to go by price. And then you can see the different star ratings. So this resort is 5-star. It's located in the heart of Rome, just steps from the Spanish Step, from the Sistine Chapel and the Colosseum. You know, that sounds really good. But if you're not sure, you can view the details of all these hotels, and you'll see photos, you'll see a map, and then they also give you usually how many meters they are from a train station or from the airport. So that's nice. And then you can look at them that way. So with Europe Express, if you're not sure about the itinerary, you want some guidance on it, go ahead and create the skeleton, the bones of it. And then you can call them and they can talk it through and see, did you book them the best property for that family? You will get a better commission rate if you start it online and have them modify it when you call in. So we are going to do a room with breakfast. So we'll do a double room with breakfast. And that does add some money to the booking, but they won't have to worry about their breakfast every day. So we'll do that. Then we're going to go to next. Now we can do the train between the cities. There is, let's see, it's an hour and a half. This one leaves at 8:45 a.m. You know what? That looks like a really good option for my clients. You could do first class or you could do a second class trip. And then we will go ahead. This is the Italian rail line, and then this is a different rail line, and you can do the different opportunities there. I'm going to click this one, and we'll do the first class, so they have a nice train ride. We'll click go. Now these are the hotels in Florence. I'm just going to pick one, but it's the same thing. If it says on request, it will not be confirmed. They have to call the hotel, just so you know that. So don't say, you know what, I've booked this hotel for you. It's best to avoid an on request unless your client is specifically asking for that, and let them know that it's an on request and it has to be confirmed first. So this one, we're going to take this room, and it has a double room and it has breakfast. So we're going to do that one. And then you do next. And now you can see the different transfers. So you can do a shared transfer from the airport, or you can do a private transfer. And if I would always recommend doing a private transfer. So it will take them from the airport to Central Rome. That's fine. We want to do that. And then we will do a transfer, a private transfer from the rail station to, let's say we are going to go from the hotel to the rain. We need a, let's see here. All right, there we go. Now, here's a transfer from, this will be from Central Florence Hotel to the airport. So we're going to do that one. There are transfers to the train station. They can get that through the concierge, which would probably be less expensive and have a little more flexibility. Because depending on how far the train station is, it may just be around the corner. You can do that ahead of time, but we're going to assume that these guys are just going to get their transfer to and from the train station through their hotel. Okay, and now here are all the different tours. You can pick all kinds of tours. If you want to know what the description is, just go ahead and click right here, the description below. And if you click right here, it'll give you a larger description, what days they operate, what time it goes out, and you can print it or share it with your clients. So right now we are, I'll just pick one just so we have something on their itinerary. And you do that. And we will do this one for that. So they have 2 tours. They have their transfers to and from the airport. They have their train in between cities. And here you go. So here is your itinerary. It's all set for you. And once you put their names and birthdays in, you can save the itinerary. So to save it or to book it, you are going to need to have names and birthdays. So save the itinerary or book the itinerary. If you're going to put names and birthdays in, go ahead and hit the book button. It will send you a beautiful itinerary and agent and client copy of the invoice. So right now this trip is looking, and it's right up here, at $6,587, and the commission is $662.50. If you want to add a markup to it, you can add that on. It will show on the travel agent copy, but it will not show on the client copy. Just know that if you start modifying your itinerary, to make sure that final draft, that markup is still in there. So let's say we're going to mark it up by $200. You can hit calculate and it will change this to $67.87.50. So that is how you do a booking at Europe Express. They also have great destination information and resources. So under this resources tab, they have flyers, webinars, online tutorials. They have a great city guide, information about passports and visas, airport taxes, FIT, frequently asked question group, frequently asked questions. So they really do have a lot of stuff on this website. It's not as pretty as some of the other vendors' websites, but they do a really good job for Europe. They are based out of Washington State, and here's their phone number up there, and you can just give them a call. So I also wanted to show you the tour operator preferred vendor list. So here is the preferred supplier list on Agent Universe, which is the Travel Leaders website. So if you click on preferred supplier, and I have it sorted by category, you just come right over here and click on tour. And it just takes you to the bottom of the page. And here are all the different tour operators we talked about. Remember we talked about Abercrombie and Kent, and that being a high-end, actually I think I had that named wrong. It is Abercrombie and Kent, not Alexander and Kent. It's Alexander and Roberts and Abercrombie and Kent, so sorry about that. So Abercrombie and Kent, you can click on that, and what you're going to see is their reservation number, their website, and then their commission levels. So all the different commission levels that are provided there. And then they talk a little bit about each one of their journeys, specialist training. And this is kind of nice. All the countries they go to, and then it'll do cities as well. So countries first and then cities. So this one's really in depth because they do so many different destinations. But if you click, let's say, Big Five, because we talked about them. Big Five is specializes in Africa. So you'll be able to see their product definition and how to get brochures, their destinations that they go to. This one does not have commission information on it. It's not always available, but if it is through Travel Leaders, they will put it there. I hope this webinar has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, you can call us at 763-497-0839. You can email us at support@tqagents.com. Or if it's a real quick question and it can be answered by chat on the agent portal now is online chat during business hours, so 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We have chat on. You have to be logged in to the TravelQuest Network agent portal, but that's an option as well. Thanks for joining me today.